Alright, so apparently you all think I'm some type of vegan engineer developing weapons professionally while holding hostages in my basement. Well, all will be revealed in this video. But first, let's roll the intro. Welcome all 500,000 ladies and gentlemen that are now subscribed to the channel. On my community page, I asked you guys to list your assumptions that you have made about me, and in this video, I'm going to be addressing them and either confirming that you're correct or correcting you if you are wrong. But first, let's address the elephant in the room, which is the room itself. This is actually my office. In all of my videos, I usually have a green screen behind me, so you don't typically see, get out of here, please. You don't typically see what my office actually looks like, and this is it. I got mostly just instruments in the background. I got my keyboard back here. I got my guitars back here, bass as well, my green screen, and that's it. You may also notice that my hair is down, which it almost never is in videos. That's normally because it just gets hot in my office when I'm recording. But this is actually what I usually look like when I'm not recording videos. You may also notice that I'm actually sitting down in a chair. You typically don't see a chair behind me because I'm usually standing. My desk does raise and lower when I want it to, and I usually stand when I'm recording. So with all that out of the way, this kind of establishes that this is a bit of a different type of video. So without further ado, let's get into these assumptions. Assumption, you are vegan. False. I assume that you have studied physics, engineering, or something similar before. This is actually a really popular one. A lot of people assuming that I have some type of education in engineering or math or coding or anything like that. And the answer is no. I actually did nothing more than typical high school and college regular classes. I didn't specialize in anything. I just took your basic classes and all that stuff. I just happened to like creativity, and scrap mechanic and trail makers happen to use creativity in ways that also involve physics and engineering. So if you see me making mistakes, that's probably why. Assumption, you are 31 years old. Not yet. Actually, about a month, I'll be 31 years old. January 22nd, which means I'm currently 30 for the less math inclined. Assumption, you like to watch anime. False. Assumption, this assumption thingy is not your original idea. True, I've actually seen this a handful of times over the past year or so, and I just think it's more interesting than a typical Q&A, so I thought, why not try it out? I assume you make your own time-lapse music. This is not true. The only music in my videos that I have made that you typically hear is my intro and outro. Everything else comes from the YouTube audio library because I don't want to get stuck with any copyright claims. So I play it safe and just get everything from the YouTube audio library that's for creators. Assumption, you have a brother. False. I actually grew up an only child, but I do have a half-sister. I assume you didn't design your channel banner pattern yourself. This is actually false. All of the art on my channel, when it comes to my logo, my intro, my banner, anything else on my channel, that was all designed by me. I didn't really know what I was doing, so it took an absurdly long time to figure it out. Assumption, you have a college degree. This is actually true. I have a BA in psychology. Assumption, you live on the East Coast. Not currently true, but I did grow up on the East Coast, and I moved to Hawaii when I was 18, and then I moved from Hawaii to Vegas, where I am now, like 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. It depends on when you're watching this video. I assume that you are an extroverted person that likes to hang out with people. This is actually false. Although I've spent a lot of time in like the entertainment industry, I've spent a lot of time on stage in front of crowds of people and all that stuff. When it comes to just my own personal comfort, I prefer to either be alone or with a few people that I know well. Meeting new people is always very weird for me, and being in groups of people that I'm unfamiliar with is also very weird for me. Assumption, you used to be very good at COD and you played a lot of shooter games in the past. So I see this type of comment a lot when I do a warehouse video in Scrap Mechanic, because apparently the way that I react and shoot the tape bots in the warehouses make people think I play shooters. And they're actually right. First-person shooter games was actually my first introduction to PC gaming. Battlefield 2 was like one of the first games I really took seriously on PC, and I just kind of opened the door to computer gaming. I used to be like Nintendo and PlayStation and all that stuff. And then, yeah, first-person shooters are how I got into computer gaming, which is, I guess, kind of what made me end up here now. But obviously my channel has nothing to do with first-person shooters, so I just do it for fun in my spare time. Assumption, you were friends with Khan before YouTube. This is false. Everybody that I've recorded with on YouTube, I never knew them before YouTube. Assumption, you aren't being forced at gunpoint to do this. True. I assume Hank doesn't get milk. You are the one getting milk. Who let this question in here? I said nothing about Hank. No Hank questions. They're starting to figure it out. Assumption, you're 6'3". That's a lot taller than me. I'm like 5'10", all right? Assumption, you have a pet. I have two, actually. Want to see them? This is Ty. Ty is a part golden retriever, part Anatolian shepherd. Good boy. Okay, get out of here. And this is Cass. He is a German shepherd / husky, and he sheds a lot. All right, you can get out of here too. Assumption, you're a coding logic master. You just hide it. Actually, everything I've learned about logic is mostly through Scrap Mechanic, and I know absolutely nothing about coding, so there you have it. Assumption, you like cars and drift them. I mean, it's hard not to like cars, but I'm not a car guy. I just see cars as a utility to get yourself from point A to point B. I have no interest in spending a bunch of money on a car that just looks cool or has a fast engine or anything like that. Assumption, you may enjoy dubstep. You seem like one to enjoy the unpredictable art of some wavy air that we call dubstep. This is true, but I'm very, very picky with my music. I like different types of melodic dubstep, stuff that has a lot of layers to it and a lot of epicness to it. And I've also dabbled a little bit in dubstep production myself as well, so I do have an appreciation for sound synthesis and sound design when it comes to synthesizers and things like that. Assumption, you secretly play Minecraft. I've literally only played Minecraft for like 20 or 30 minutes, and it was for an April Fool's video on this channel. You can find it if you search for it. Assumption, you got bullied in school. It's actually false. I really kind of went under the radar in school. I wasn't a bully. I didn't get bullied. I did have some friends through various social groups. I wasn't just really locked into any particular group of people. Assumption, you were part of a music band once. This is kind of true, but not since I was 16 or 17. I was in a band with some friends from like high school and stuff. We never really played shows or anything. We just kind of practiced and wrote stuff and just enjoyed jamming out. But yeah, back then, that was kind of a career goal. I wanted to be in like a famous metal band. Assumption, you follow stay-at-home orders, and the rare times you do leave your home, you wear a mask. As of this year, yeah. Assumption, you are very humble. Extremely, yeah, this is like the most true of all of them, definitely. I mean, I like to think it's true, but that's one of those things you can't confirm yourself. Only other people can say someone is humble. A person can't say it of themselves, otherwise it's kind of self-contradictory. Assuming you and Khan are close friends in real life and you guys hang out a lot. This is actually false. Me and Khan, believe it or not, have never been in the same room at the same time. Take that as you will. Assumption, you are married. True. Been married for about 5 years. Assumption, you had a job before YouTube and you quit to dedicate yourself full time. Yes and no. I did have a job before YouTube, but it was kind of like a part-time self-employed thing I had going on. Some of you old school subscribers may remember this from my last Q&A video, but I actually used to do circus arts professionally. But unfortunately, I couldn't find enough work, and YouTube just happened to start working out at the time that started not working out. So I just transitioned naturally. I didn't actually quit. I just kind of had to do something that was doing better, which happened to be YouTube. And now in 2020, I am really thankful for that, because if I kept pursuing the circus arts and performing, I would be out of a job right now. So thank you, viewers, for saving me. I assume you have 11 kids in your basement. Joke's on you, I don't have a basement. Assumption, you do not have a different job than your YouTube channel. This is true. I am full-time YouTube right now, every day, all the time. Assumption, you've known Khan since the second you were born. I mean, that wouldn't make sense unless, like, we were born at the exact same time in the exact same space. Like, we'd have to be like the same person. Stop. Okay, I'll stop. I assume that you played with Legos when you were just a yee little boy. I mean, of course, who didn't? But I didn't. I got a thing about Legos here. Okay. I was never into like the Lego sets where you buy just a set of Legos that come with instructions and it tells you exactly what piece to put where so you can build this pre-designed thing That was not my jam. That was just like, I'm just doing the work and I don't even get to do any of the creativity. What's the point? I just liked having a box of just Legos, just the bricks. I didn't care about all those fancy little pieces. I was just all about having the bricks and just building my own towers and castles and things like that. The sets to me just didn't count. That wasn't real Lego to me. Assumption, you enjoy metal music. What gave it away? Is it the hair? Assumption, you're actually a professional musician. This is false, mostly. I have gotten paid to make music, like on a couple of individual occasions, but I definitely never made a career out of it, although it is what I wanted to do when I was a teenager. Assumption, your father, mother, or a sibling may have served in the military or is serving in the military. False. However, my wife actually is Army Reserves. Assumption, you are not as energetic in real life as you are on camera. This is actually true. I'm actually a pretty chill, more stoic person in real life. But as with most people, you kind of become a more heightened version of yourself when you're in front of an audience or on camera, which is perfectly normal. Assumption, you are very good at piano, like really, really good. This is not true. I know there's a piano back there behind me, but I'm a guitar player first, and everything I've learned on piano is just me translating from guitar over to piano. I've never taken piano lessons. I am not good at it. Assumption, what is your real name? I don't think he got how assumptions are supposed to work. I assume you hated Satisfactory and hence left it without any explanation that I'm aware of. So this is a common question I get on my channel about like any game that I stop playing. People are like, what happened to it? Where did it go? What happened? And almost every single time, this is the answer you can assume is what happened. What happened is people just stopped watching as much and it became not worth it to record anymore, because if I keep uploading stuff that people aren't watching, then it becomes difficult to pay the bills. So I gotta make those decisions when I look at the analytics. And Satisfactory, unfortunately, was one of those series. It started off strong, but then the last handful of videos were just terrible for views. So to keep on recording it just wouldn't have been a smart move for the channel. Assumption, you and Khan are secretly the same person. I assume Scrap Mechanic owes you much for its success. So this isn't really how I see things at all. It's a very symbiotic relationship in my mind between game developers and YouTube gamers or streamers or anything like that. Like, yeah, my videos have definitely brought a lot of people to Scrap Mechanic, but Scrap Mechanic has also in turn brought a lot of viewership to my channel. So whatever is owed is kind of already paid just by us existing in this symbiotic ecosystem, in my opinion. Assumption, reality is a lie, and this is a simulation that we are stuck in and have repeated it multiple times. Assumption, reality is a lie, and this is a simulation that we are stuck in and have repeated it multiple times. Assumption, reality is a lie, and this is a simulation that we are stuck in and have repeated it multiple times. I mean, obviously false, like clearly, right? Right? Assumption, you get barely any sleep. This is actually an interesting question. This one's a little bit more personal because I actually do struggle with sleep, and it's not that I don't get sleep. I do tend to get like 8 hours of sleep when I need it. The problem is that 8 hours varies drastically week to week. Sometimes I'll go to bed at like 2 a.m. Sometimes I'll go to bed at 9 a.m. Sometimes I'll go to bed at 8 p.m. And when I get tired, it just varies drastically from time to time. And sometimes you might see if I look tired in my videos, it's just because my sleep schedule has shifted that particular day or something in a weird way. And this is just something that I've struggled with my entire life. It's not really anything new to me. It's just a normal part of how my body works, I guess. If you're interested in what more accurately describes it, look up non-24-hour sleep-wake cycle, and that pretty much describes what I experience. Assumption, you used to play guitar professionally as a street performer. The guitar part, not true, but I actually did used to be a professional street performer when I lived in Hawaii. I did a mostly magic-themed show. Assumption, you are involved with a weapons development company, and that's why you test so much in games. You're not supposed to know that, right? We don't talk about that? All right, all right, we just cut this. Assumption, you get really tired of playing the same games, but force yourself to make videos sometimes. So this is one of those kind of harsh realities of YouTube. Once you've built a following, for a specific kind of content, it is really hard to stray too far from that content without damaging your channel. So there's always this kind of balancing game where you're trying to introduce fresh new things, but also trying not to alienate the people who subscribed for what you originally were doing. And that's just kind of why I introduce new games sometimes, and also why I keep playing Scrap Mechanic as well. There are definitely times in which I've made videos that I really did not enjoy making, but still, even with thousands of hours in the game, there's still ideas and videos that I make that were really, really fun, especially if things just work out really, really well. The really non-enjoyable ones are usually the ones where I had this amazing idea and the idea just didn't work out as how I envisioned, but I had to try to figure out how to make an entertaining video out of it anyway. So hopefully I've succeeded in doing that for you guys. Assumption, you own a truck. False, I own a car. Assumption, you spend most of your waking hours creating videos. So this one's kind of like a half true, half false, because I wouldn't say I spend most of my waking hours creating videos, but I would say that I do spend most of my waking hours thinking about making videos, which is kind of not that much different. Assumption, your significant other watches your YouTube channel and supports your work. True. Assumption 1, you're epic. My epic what? Assumption, you didn't see your life going to YouTube when you were a kid. Well, fun fact, YouTube didn't exist when I was a kid, so that's definitely true. Yeah, I'm old, I know. Assumption, you feel detached from YouTube and don't see it as a hobby, but a routine. So it's hard to feel detached from something that you literally have to do for hours every single day. But it's definitely not a hobby. This is my career. This is my livelihood. This is my job. This is what I do. And as far as the routine part, it definitely is a routine. I do YouTube 7 days a week, like literally every single day in order to create daily videos. I'm very, very rarely ahead on videos. So every video that you see was recorded and edited the day before that you see it. Assumption, Con Gaming is actually a fictional alias you made up as both of you look exactly the same. Okay, where are they getting this? Is somebody talking? This is not acceptable. All right, this one's a bit of a doozy, but I think it's gonna be worth it. I assume you have some difficulty focusing on many things that are happening in the same time. In many videos, you totally miss little yet obvious things that happen around your center of focus. It's not bad, means you can focus better on a specific thing. I just assume it. I'm curious about what you think about it. Love you, you're awesome and handsome, keep being yourself. So this is actually something I've thought a lot about, because when I watch YouTubers play games, I think the same exact thing. I'm like, how did they miss that? It was right in front of their face. Do I just have a better perception than all these YouTubers? Like, all these assumptions kind of build in my head, and then I started making videos. And then I started seeing comments about people pointing out stuff that I was missing, and then I realized, oh, I've never been aware of the things I wasn't aware of because I've never had thousands of people there to point it out to me. So I think this thing that I like to call YouTuber blindness is actually something that we all have, but we don't all have YouTube channels where our gameplay and our experience is being experienced by hundreds or thousands of other people to point out what you're missing. And because nobody's pointing out what you're missing, you never realize you miss anything. So you think you've just been going through experiencing everything you were supposed to experience. So no, I don't really see myself as having difficulty focusing more than any other person. I just think that people tend to not realize things that they miss until you have people to point it out for you. So try to remember that next time you're raging at a YouTuber that missed something that you think was obvious from the viewer standpoint. So I hope you feel like you've learned something a little bit more about this guy you've been watching on YouTube for however long you've been watching on YouTube. And I do want to thank you all again for 500,000 subscribers. Like 100,000 was my initial goal, but now we're halfway towards 1 million, which would be the gold play button. So I don't know how long it's going to take to get to the actual million mark, but to me, that's going to be the next big milestone. So I hope you're all having a wonderful Christmas and Happy New Year when that comes around. I might not be uploading a video tomorrow, the day after Christmas, because I'm probably going to be spending Christmas with my wife. But if you want to help me out with something for the true fans that have been here all year for 2020, leave down in the comments what was your most memorable ScrapMan video moment of 2020, because I'm going to be putting together a end of the year compilation, and I like to see if there's anything that stood out to you guys in particular that might be good to focus on in that compilation. So leave that down in the comments below. And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, definitely make sure you're subscribed. If you want to see more ScrapMan content, then go ahead and check out this playlist of every video I've ever made right here on the end screen. And don't forget to check out some merch, especially if you want to get your last chance at the ugly Scrapmas sweater, because it's going to be gone at the end of the year. Check that out right here on the end screen as well. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.